What's up, everyone, and welcome to a very special Black Adam-themed version of the podcast. What's up, Tim?
What's up, man?
We've seen Black Adam?
We are fresh off of Black Adam.
Fresh.
Actually.
We saw it a few hours ago, and we're about to spoil the crap out of it. So spoilers galore.
That's right. we don't want to hear it past this.
Yeah. It'll be like, you forgot to say spoilers. No, literally, we haven't said a word yet. Okay, so spoilers now.
Ready to go.
But Black Adam, we saw it. I guess get into it. So
Let's get into it.
Let's dive in the deep end. I thought it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. I liked it. It was a lot of fun, a ton of action, but shallow story. Nothing really complex there. But yeah, I liked it. I don't think it was like the most amazing DCEU film. I don't think it was like a dumpster fire, as some people are saying at all. I think it was.
Are there a lot of people saying it's a dumpster fire? Because I've intentionally stayed away from everything.
There's a lot of people saying it. Seems like the audience score, more people are digging it, but there's a lot of people hating on it too. But I would say I wouldn't say it's polarizing. I feel like most of the audience is liking it, but I've seen a lot of people be like,
I know when we got out, you looked at the Rotten Tomatoes scores to see where the critics and now the audience score was, and you said the audience score was at like an 88.
Yeah,
versus like critics was 42.
Yeah, at the time of me looking at it, it was 88, and on the critic score was 42. Again, that may have changed, but as of now, that's what it is. No. But I mean, I'd rather the audience like it more than the critics, because critics are like,
I never go by them.
Yeah, because I don't know, they have their reasons for why they don't like certain movies, and it's just really weird.
They generally have, not always, because nothing is ever always, but generally the critic's perspective is very different from the audience.
Yeah, I think the
especially
audience,
with movies like this,
the audience score being so high at 88 is very telling of the differences between what the actual fans want and what critics look for.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, kind of like the establishment, either media or even Hollywood, I would say.
Yeah,
in some cases.
I will say though, did you feel, because the whole like hierarchy of power thing is about to change? Did you feel there was really a lot to that when you see the movie? Because he's like The Rock, and the marketing was pushing that a lot, and we get it because Superman and all that stuff and other powerful heroes, but like I felt like it was just, again, that was very shallow. Like it was just, he's stronger than everyone but Superman.
Yeah.
Like it was very surface level. I didn't think it was gonna, I thought maybe it had more to it, like as far as like, I don't know, just more to it, not just like, hey, I'm almost as powerful as Superman, or I'm just as powerful as Superman. Like it's literally surface level. That's why the hierarchy is changing, because we're introducing a character that can fight Superman.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And even that, with what the things that they said, just before the release, or just as the movie was getting ready to release, with the return of Henry Cavill's Superman, even The Rock himself comparing Black Adam as a planetary threat versus Superman, who's a universal power, right? The most powerful force in the universe. It did dumb it down. I mean, don't get me wrong. This movie went above and beyond, particularly to using the Justice Society to establish Black Adam as a incredibly powerful figure. I lost count of how many times Black Adam himself or some other character uttered the phrase, "No one can beat him. You can't beat me," that sort of a thing. Basically establishing like no one that we were seeing on screen was really a challenge to him. Even in the end, at the end of the film, which was, I don't know how you felt about it. It was kind of anticlimactic, because everything with Sabak was it was lingering in the background, but it was kind of just thrust in there right at the end. And the battle for me was kind of uneventful, because even Dr. Fate, because as we talked, we actually did an episode on the main channel here just recently. Could Black Adam actually defeat Dr. Fate based on what we know from comics? And because you could tell from the trailers that they were really going to dumb down, especially Dr. Fate. They had to establish Black Adam as powerful, as powerful a character as they wanted to.
Right.
And in this, they really went about the business of doing that. Even Dr. Fate said, I think at least twice in the film, like, we can't beat him.
Yeah, no, he verbally said it. Yeah.
Yeah, he says it out loud. And he also says the same thing about Sabak.
Yeah, because it was like the yin to Black Adam's yang, essentially.
Right.
Like he's the champion of, like,
so he's like, there's
underworld.
only one that can defeat him, and it's Black Adam. So even as powerful as they tried to in a very short period of time, establish Sabak as being as powerful as they tried to establish him to be, they even say before it even happens that Black Adam can beat him.
Yeah, that was the thing that's that's the thing that people don't like Superman for, where it's like no one's a threat for him. But at least when they introduce Superman, they always do something to kind of give him like, he's going to win in the end, but either whether it's kryptonite or they do
Yeah.
something to where
There's more parity.
There's a struggle there.
Mhm.
With this movie, there was no struggle for Black Adam at all. Like nothing was ever a struggle, which I love super like powerful characters. I love them. People are always like, they're boring because they're just so powerful. It's like, no, I really like them. But because you could find ways to make them, I think what I like about it is you have to think of creative ways to make them like put them on the ropes.
Yes.
And they didn't do that where there was nothing. He was never really on the ropes. It was even when he gave up his power in like the middle of the film, it was on his own accord.
Mhm.
He's like, oh, I feel guilty.
Yeah.
I guess I'll depower.
Exactly.
And then
I'll power down.
I'll power down. Yeah. And then he came back because Dr. Fate, while fighting Sabak is like,
Yeah.
hey, we need you. You're the only one who could beat him. Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So I think that was a minor gripe. Again, it was really, really fun because the whole movie was like a giant boss battle. I felt like the opening fight sequence
throughout the entire thing.
like as soon as they introduced Black Adam when he's fighting like the mercenaries, like Intergang
Mhm.
and stuff like that, that could have been like the final fight at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
How many people he killed, like Mortal Kombat fatality style, which another thing I was shocked about of how like violent it was, which
I don't know, because I heard that they were gonna really ramp up the body count. So I guess I was mentally prepared for it to be even more violent than it was.
I heard it
So-
was going to be R. They had to
Yes.
go in and be like
Yeah.
take some stuff out, which makes sense now seeing it,
Mhm.
because one of the coolest parts for me is when he throws someone by the arm, but he threw him so hard and fast the arm ripped
Yeah.
off and you see him holding the arm.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, this is brutal. I mean, it was great. It just took me for a
I remember
surprise.
reading all the way back in 2021, they talked about the fact that they were going to make it PG-13, but they were like reassuring the audience, like, this is going to be brutal. Like Black Adam's going to be brutal.
It was really brutal.
It's going to be violent. But the body count's going to be high and all that kind of a thing.
He didn't let anyone live.
No.
Anyone he fought, whether it was a henchman, a big bad, or no one that he crossed paths with that was a bad guy lived.
Yeah. And I did like his interactions with Hawkman on that front,
It was funny.
where he would just fly people up several thousand feet and just chuck them.
Mhm.
And Hawkman would be like, will you stop throwing people off buildings, basically? And he's just like, I didn't. They lived.
I like how they played with that with the little the moral compass there a little bit, where it was like even the Justice Society was too far on the other
Yeah.
end, where they're like everything was very black and white.
Yes.
And then Black Adam's story was obviously to push to like there's a gray area and things.
Yeah,
There's nuance to everything.
They toyed around a lot with the heroes, villains,
Mhm.
black, white, like, there's heroes and there's villains. They really emphasized that a lot. I thought it was a little over the top because it became became too obvious in its messaging.
Well, it reminded me when we talked to Keanu Reeves here a little while ago.
Mr. Keanu.
Where one of the things he was saying while we were talking to him is he loves that like someone who you think is a villain is someone else's hero,
Right.
which is exactly
Right.
what this movie was. Like Kondak was like, no, what are you doing, Just Society? We love him. He's finally like, saving us, liberating
yeah.
us, stuff like that. So I love seeing that parallel, because it's like that with anything, like with religion or anything, right? If like this is your truth, I know it's like your truth, but like if that's your truth or whatever, people will like, follow that because that's what they grew up with, that's what they
Mhm.
believe in. So it's interesting to see the sides of the coin there.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Punisher.
Yeah.
Right? Just playing with that idea of, is there a time where brutal violence is necessary?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a time where, corruption or crime or people are so wrong and the corruption is so deep that there's nothing for it but then to take people out?
Like, should Batman kill the Joker?
Right.
Is Batman crazy for not killing the Joker?
And you go round and round, and that's one of the things I think is very interesting about Superman is, that they toy around with that idea of, same thing with Batman, why doesn't Batman just kill the Joker, like you said? But with Superman, they do go to even a greater extent because he has so much power. He could literally just do what he does in Injustice,
Mhm.
rule the planet with an iron fist and just
Right.
not allow anything, right?
Mhm.
It's like, okay, what's better to put people, arrest people and put people in prison and then try and rehabilitate them when let's say when they steal, or
Mhm.
should you go with what some other cultures have done in the past where you steal, you cut your hand off,
Right.
right? Things like that. It's like,
Mhm.
it's dealing with that, like what are the boundaries and why and all of that kind of stuff there. So it's an interesting moral play. But going back to what you asked at the beginning is like, I do think while they dabbled with stuff like that, it was kind of, it was very simplistic. And
Oh,
when
yeah.
they did, and
Yeah.
because the story was so simplistic, when they dealt with it,
Mhm.
it was kind of, it fell a little flat. It felt kind of preachy, soapboxy because they felt like they just had to, expositionally just say
Mhm.
it.
You know what this movie reminded me of? The more I think about it, the first Transformers film, the first Michael Bay Transformers film. Just in the sense that it's just like a pure popcorn film. Like if you're going to see this film for like a deep plot, a story, or like the best cinematography, no.
Yeah.
You're just looking to have a fun time, lots of action, and be like, well, that was really cool. And that's
Yeah.
what like the first Transformers film was for me, where it's just not a good movie per se. I mean, I got like nostalgia ties to it now because it's old, but like
Yeah.
it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, if you go into it with that mindset, yes. But like you asked, whether or not it really fulfilled this promise of like the power, the what is
Mhm.
it, the power structure of DC is about to change or whatever. And, long way of, I didn't really fully answer that at the beginning with I don't think that they really did because they set a lot of boundaries of like, hey, look at how powerful Black Adam is and how they just kept saying it over and over again.
Mhm.
But it was, you kind of left us like, yeah, that was like a fun action flick.
Mhm.
Lots of cool vibes, almost like a Mortal Kombat film, like you said, in
Mhm.
that way. But especially once you got to the post credit scene where Superman arrives and Amanda Waller just is still like pushing Black Adam's buttons, which by the way, I thought was dumb. I was
What?
just like, listen, you just got done watching this guy wipe out everything you threw at him, including this, supernatural power that
Right.
emerges, right? He just wipes everything out that comes in front of him. Why would you continue to antagonize that?
Well, because she
Like if
knew
you're Amanda Waller,
because she knows what she's got that he doesn't know yet, like
yeah,
Superman, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, Aquaman.
you would look to negotiate with that on some degree, even manipulate it, not just continue to poke and say, "Hey, we're going to attack and kill you."
She said if he leaves, if he
Yeah.
leaves.
So I just thought, I was like, that just feels
I felt
like
that,
not the best. But
I think that's one of the things with me because they were pushing this movie to change the direction of the DC universe, and it wasn't so much the movie as it literally was the minute and a half end credit scene or post credit scene. Like that end credit scene had more of a shift for the direction of the universe going
yes,
forward than the entirety of the movie.
and that's what I was getting at is that once you get to that post credit scene, it almost was as if they undid everything that they spent the entire movie doing, which is just pounding this idea into your head of like, he's an unstoppable force. No one can beat him. And then she's like, well, I can call in some favors and send somebody from another planet, whatever. And then Superman shows up and, the John Williams score starts playing and you're just like, and basically they're telling you like, Superman can stop you.
Or he's
It's
going
like,
to try.
oh yeah.
It's in Rock's
He
contract.
already told us though.
can't
He already
lose.
said this is the most powerful force in the universe. Black Adam is established as the most powerful force on the planet. Superman's the most powerful.
Yeah,
force in the
Superman's
universe.
obviously gonna.
Yeah, he's gonna win that.
I mean, just purely based off he's the hero, right? Where
Yeah.
Black Adam he's got a skewed moral code, so the hero has to win,
Yeah.
right? In the end,
I
So-
guess my point is going back to the very first thing you asked, was just like, no, I don't think that I don't think feel like they cemented the sense of like, wow, this is a dramatic shift for DC.
for sure. I mean, it was good. It was fun. I liked
Yes.
it, but I thought there was going to be more things in it that was pushing the new direction of the DC universe. If that made sense,
Right,
maybe more
exactly.
Easter eggs and cameos and stuff like that. There was some. There were some. I love the
I mean, that was one of the things that actually bothered me.
what there wasn't.
Because I haven't said this, by the way, but I did enjoy the movie. So yeah, but I had some gripes, but they were going into it with the mindset that we did. It was kind of hard to complain about what we got because it was just,
Right.
it was a fun action film. But one of my gripes is that I was watching for Easter eggs throughout, and there was a couple little things
Mhm.
like they introduced and mentioned Nth Metal in live action for the first time. I believe that was the first time.
Yeah, well, I mean, just having Hawkman's
Hawkman,
name
you
is
had
nice.
to.
Yeah.
But they introduced that. They referenced the scientist that tortured and manipulated Cyclone.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which obviously that's intentional. The little things here and there, but for the most part, it
I
didn't.
think there was a Lobo poster in the kid's room too.
Was there?
I believe so.
I missed that.
Because he had a bunch of like Marvel. I'm not Marvel. Whoops. There's a bunch of DC characters in his room. Obviously, like
they
the
had
Flash.
posters all-
I think I saw
Batman,
Lobo,
Flash,
Batman.
Superman.
So that was fun because it's just like, so these characters do exist in that world,
Yeah.
which was cool.
But other than that, it was relatively uneventful on that front, unless we flat out just missed
Yeah,
it.
again, it was a fun movie, but like I thought the way that they were pushing, I thought it was going to do a lot more to shift. Where again, the only thing it was to shift forward is the return of Super, which is awesome, which is great. But we already knew
Amazing.
that they spoiled it a week
They
before the
spoiled it.
movie, so that's why it's like, yeah, I've been sitting on that for a week already, so I'm not
Yeah.
like in awe anymore. Really cool, but we already knew it.
And about the Superman thing, I also want to say, like, since we talked about it last week, we had so many people telling us how we were behind on the news and everybody already knew that and this wasn't a surprise and blah, 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 and all these different reasons.
Mhm.
And we knew all the things that you guys knew. We had heard all the rumors too,
Yeah,
but there's a difference between rumors
and confirmed.
because we get those all the time. Sometimes they end up confirmed, sometimes they don't. There's a difference between rumors going around and then it's just flat out
And then
confirmed by the studio and the star of the film.
Yeah, he literally, like, again, that's been something we've wanted for years.
Yes.
And people were talking about it, but that doesn't mean, like you just said, it's gonna happen until the studio
We
confirms
knew
it.
the possibility was there.
Yeah.
But, let us be surprised.
It's kind of like the new rumor. You hear about the new rumor?
No.
Chris McQuarrie? Christopher McQuarrie.
Oh, yeah.
Writer,
Mission
director,
Impossible,
Mission
yeah,
Impossible.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
he's apparently being tapped to write and direct Man of Steel 2.
Oh, let me tell you. Oh, my God. Is that real? Or that's a rumor?
They're baiting him. They're baiting him. It's not, again, it's not confirmed, but Warner Brothers is going after him.
Let me tell y'all something. That dude knows storytelling. He is an incredible storyteller and filmmaker.
I wonder if he'll do it. You think
If
he'll do
they
it?
just flat turn him loose and let him go,
I mean, if you
That
get
would be-
get someone of that caliber, you're just letting them. You're like, yeah.
well, that shows
just
you're
let-
not messing around.
Yeah, you're just
that's for
letting them.
sure.
Well, that's the thing. That is the one thing I will say with Rock in this new movie. I think it's really cool that he does have his pulse on the fan base, and
Yeah.
he seems like he genuinely is trying to give the fans what we want. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, not everything's gonna happen, but he's definitely trying to do the big things we want. Bringing Henry Cavill is something we've wanted. The last time we saw Superman on the big screen was 6 years ago.
Right.
So it was The Rock and his team that helped that happen
Yeah.
because one of the heads of Rock's production company or whatever actually I think manages Henry Cavill. So they're good friends. So they've been fighting for a while, and you could literally say without Rock and his production company, Cavill will not be back.
I think that at this point, I think that is clear.
And then
That The Rock and his team, the Garcia brothers, I think it's clear that they're the reason that Cavill is back.
And now under the new management, because Rock's also said in a very politically correct way, now under the new leadership of Warner Brothers, they're allowing, him in the DC universe to go in a direction that we've been wanting in a while. So I think, we've been saying this forever, but I think this could mean good things. I mean, Man of Steel 2 is apparently a high priority right now, and they're trying to get freaking Christopher McQuarrie, like people of that caliber.
Oh man,
that means they're serious.
That's more exciting for me than even Henry Cavill coming back, because that tells you
I've been saying
that's
forever.
a high caliber filmmaker.
All he needs, because people complain about Man of Steel and stuff
and
like
he
that.
has ties to Henry Cavill from the Mission Impossible.
Yes.
What is it Ghost Protocol is the last one, or
I don't know, but
It's not Ghost
when he
Protocol.
freaking
no? Man, it's gonna bug me.
what was it? He
The last one, anyway.
yeah. What did he do with his arms again? What did they call that again? He loaded his arms or he cocked his arms.
yeah, I know what
You
you're
know
talking
what I'm
about.
talking about? The little arm
the
pump
double
thing?
pump.
Yeah. But yeah, that just shows you they're serious. It's a high priority. They're going after freaking some of the best writers and directors in all of Hollywood.
That's fantastic.
So if they're able to get him and convince him to do it, man, that would be crazy.
If we get confirmation that Christopher McQuarrie has signed on and he's gonna
That'd be nuts.
produce and direct, maybe even write.
Well,
or
the
co-write,
rumor is they want him to write, possibly direct.
because people don't realize McQuarrie has been a ghost writer on so many films. They bring him on as a script doctor.
Yeah, like fix it.
Yeah, like when there's problems on scripts and stuff like that. That's why Tom Cruise clung to that guy so tightly, because he has such a good grasp on
Imagine
storytelling.
what his Superman
and
script would be
progress-
like from him.
Man, especially after working with Tom Cruise on these Mission Impossible films and the stuff that Tom Cruise showed him are possible in filmmaking.
That's the thing.
That could be really great.
That's one of the things I'm thinking too, because the big thing now that's Cavill's back is like, where are we going from here? Are we
Yeah.
going to Justice League 2 or are we going to Man of Steel 2 with
It has
Black
to be Man of
Adam
Steel too.
going to be the main bad or one of the bads in Man of Steel 2? Like, are they going to work together only to fight, only to then combine to beat a greater threat? I don't know. It's very vague at this point,
Yeah.
there's lots of things they could do.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Because you could have Shazam come in and they
Yeah.
team up to fight Black Adam. You could just have Batman. You could have Superman and Black Adam fight or team up and then fight. You could do a Justice League where, like Amanda Waller alluded to, where she knows a bunch of aliens and have them all fight Black Adam in a Justice League too. There's a lot of things they could do now.
Yeah. I'm without any question, I am, after seeing them bring Henry Cavill back and then move in that direction, it kind of, it breathed, as we knew it would, it breathed fresh new life into the future of the DCEU, because it opens up a lot of possibilities that were kind of like, not necessarily dead in the water, but very stagnant.
Yeah.
It just left for a lot of uncertainty about like, what is going to happen at all here.
Well, apparently Cavill is now also in the Flash movie coming out next year.
I heard that rumor as well, but we don't have any confirmation.
It's rumor, but everyone will say it's true, and then when we say it's confirmed, they'll be like, "We knew that for a year." Like, we didn't know that for a year. That was rumor.
Yeah, exactly. Because I also heard in the same rumor that he's supposed to appear in the Flash and the Aquaman film.
Yes, and
or was it Shazam? No, it was Shazam, not Aquaman.
Probably Shazam, which would make sense because of Black Adam.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
But it would also be another cameo.
But Ben Affleck is also confirmed. That is confirmed to be in Aquaman as well.
There you go.
So it's like, I wonder what that means for his fate. Are they going to freaking bait Affleck back in? Now they're like, hey, new leadership. We have a plan now. You want to keep going?
I don't know because you can't really do as much with Ben Affleck as Batman as you can with Henry Cavill Superman.
Because he's older?
Yeah. He's in his 50s now.
Yeah, and they have pegged him as, like, even in that universe, they've pegged him as the old, like, don't give an F Batman. Yeah. He's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say there's not much you can do. There is a lot you can do with him, but he would be old man Batman. He would be like Batman in his later years.
Yeah,
although he was freaking brutal, and
it was
especially BVS. It still has the best Batman.
It was Dark Knight Returns
sequence.
Batman. Yeah, it was great. I don't know, but I mean, it seems like they're gonna kill him all. I don't know what they're doing, man. I don't know, because the Flash movie, everyone thought they were gonna kill off Batfleck. Keaton was gonna take up the role as a mentor. And then he was going to be in Batgirl, but Batgirl's not happening. Now that, because of all the shakeup, they had to reshoot a scene with Affleck and Aquaman because something they're doing didn't line up. I don't know. It's just
this is the problem with rumors and the rumor mill and stuff like that. But I mean, as far as the Black Adam movie, the one thing that was confirmed in the film after we saw it was that they definitely toned down Dr. Fate quite a bit.
Which was annoying.
Sadness in my heart. Pierce Brosnan was amazing, by the way.
When is he not?
Yeah, he's just so
James
good all
Bond.
the time. Love Pierce Brosnan. He was great in the role. We already said spoilers, so but the fact that he dies in the end and he sacrifices himself, and it was a one and done for Kent Nelson, Dr. Fate, with Pierce Brosnan in the role. That was such a bummer because I love Dr. Fate. He is one of my favorite characters in DC. So to see, obviously the helm of fate will get passed on to someone. But who, I don't know.
I think maybe the kid, although in the books,
it could be,
because we got Khalid Nasor, who's like the younger,
the
grandnephew, I believe, of Kent Nelson in the comic books, at least. Obviously, that I don't think that would play in the movie because that's not who the kid is, unless they reveal him to be somehow. But they can go that route, or Hector Hall, which is the son of Hawkman and Hawkgirl. That could be really, really cool. So it's one of those things where it's a mantle. So you could definitely still give us Dr. Fate in the future. It's just not going to be Kent Nelson, which is sad because Pierce Brosnan was great. And Kent Nelson is the longest reigning Dr. Fate.
My guess is that because the helm was left, it happened in Kahndaq with Black Adam, that we might get Nasor.
I mean, it's like the most current one too.
But I really would have loved to have seen more Kent Nelson, Dr. Fate, before they got rid of him.
Yeah,
I really would have loved that. His relationship with Hawkman was really good.
I hate it.
I enjoyed that.
My prediction was right, how they were going to dumb him down so much, though. Where he was like, we can't. It's like, what you talk about? What do you mean you can't?
Even his feats in the film were very limited.
Well, he didn't do much. Which kind of, he fought Black Adam once.
Yep.
And then he fought Sabak at the end.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And it was just it was all very
He looked awesome.
He did. He looked great.
He looked so cool. Pierce Brosnan did such a great job playing him. I just wanted more, and I wanted his feats to be more on par with that of Black Adam, because, I mean, that's the thing. When they first introduced the Justice Society, Hawkman even tells Waller, his powers are essentially godlike.
Right.
So it's like, wait,
And they did
what
not
are you?
demonstrate. They
What do you
did not
mean?
back that up.
No.
When they said that, when he says that to Amanda Waller, I got excited because I was like, oh, are they gonna really show? And like Dr. Fate just restrains himself in the film because, for whatever reason.
I was hoping like Naboo,
no.
because sometimes, in the comic books and stuff, Naboo gets pissed and he'll like take over fully
Yeah.
and is like, nope, ain't gonna happen. And it's just like full on possession mode. And I was hope that was gonna happen, like at least with Sabak, and just show him like, oh no, like now the real Lord of Order is gonna take over, but it didn't happen.
Did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was another one of my disappointments, but he still looked great. It was cool to see him on screen.
It was really cool.
I liked Atom Smasher a lot.
Tell me he wasn't the Tom Holland of this movie.
He was absolutely.
He was MCU Spider-Man all day long, but I loved it. Yeah. Especially his back and forth with Hawkman.
Yeah, it was good. And I thought Cyclone was good too.
She was really good as well. Yeah. I liked every single character. I have minor gripes. Like I just wanted Dr. Fate to be more powerful. I wanted more of him. We got a lot of Hawkman. Hawkman was great. I wish we had more of Cyclone. We didn't get enough of her. I thought she was underused, but
she was good.
Really good.
And her powers, the way they demonstrated her powers in the film, seemed very useless. She was good, and they were great additions to the film. But the way that they demonstrated, even Atom Smasher's powers, I just thought they almost came off more like the comic relief than actual.
Oh, Atom Smasher for sure was definitely the comic.
You know what I mean? And like they had their little romantic.
But they were also the newbies though, so they were trying to figure it out. They were the rookies.
Yeah. So it was everything that they contributed. Their powers seemed very like not super helpful.
Right.
At least in this film, which it was fine. It was fine for what it was. Carter Hall was great. Even though I think that he even seemed a little bit dumbed down.
Yeah, I mean everyone seemed dumbed down a little bit.
Not dumbed down, but like powered down.
Powered.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Yeah. His power. He wasn't as strong as he could be. But I mean, it's one of those things that's weird too, because there has been comic storylines where Black Adam has soloed the JSA.
This is true.
So it's one of those weird things where it's like, while I want them to be more powerful, it's like it is also still kind of true to the comic books, and depending on what storyline you're pulling from,
it has happened.
But like more often than not,
but don't tell me the whole time.
But more often than not, you see people like Dr. Fate like literally fight like. The vengeance or wrath, like the Spectre. He fights Spectre, which is like, the wrath of God.
Right.
So it's like he's fighting literally on that multiversal level, but he can't handle Black Adam.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's one of those things where the story is going to dictate who's powerful and who's not, but
100%, yeah.
It's just a little annoying sometimes.
Yeah. But overall, it was entertaining. It was fun.
I would say top 5 DCEU films for me. I don't know where it's going to rank permanently, but
where would you put it now?
As far
all the DCEU.
Oh, I would like top. I mean, because my number 1 is still Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I think my number 2 is the Snyder Cut, followed by Man of Steel, then probably James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and then Black Adam. So yeah, at 5 right there.
Oh wow. I think I would have to put, for me, I'd have to put.
But that's not cemented. I need to see it. I just saw it once. So if I change this in the future, I don't want anyone saying, you said it was this as of this moment. I got to rewatch it and sit on it a little longer.
Just DCEU, I would probably put this one at either 3 or 4.
Oh, so we're pretty close. Yeah, we're
three or 4. Because
it was a lot of fun.
I wasn't counting the Snyder Cut.
Really? Why not?
Yeah, I wasn't counting it because it wasn't really a theatrically released.
You're right. It was 10 times better than the theatrical.
It was. It was 10 times better. So, okay. So if I'm counting that, I would put it at 4 because I would have Wonder Woman, Snyder Cut, Man of Steel, Black Adam.
So the only difference for you then is the Suicide Squad. Oh, I really like Suicide Squad. Does Peacemaker count? That's an that's not a movie though.
No, it's not a movie.
Peacemaker's amazing.
I haven't seen.
Peacemaker.
I've only seen a couple
so
episodes
good.
of that still. Where would you rank it? Where would you rank it of all the DC movies? Period.
Oh God. Oh, I don't even know. That's hard. I don't even know. I can't even really answer.
We were
that.
Talking about that outside.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, because then you're putting the Joker in there, the Dark Knight in there. Then
it drops considerably.
The 89 Batman Returns. Like that's too hard. That's hard. I'd have to really plot that out.
You're sabotaging my answers, Tim.
I can't in good conscience answer that question right now.
I do want to see it again. I will say this. I do want to see it again because I want to look more closely for hidden Easter eggs.
Yeah, the more I think, again, it was just flash and clash, as they say. It was just a lot of fun, ton of eye candy. I think The Rock actually did a good job too. We didn't talk about that. I enjoyed The Rock. I was very worried that I was just going to see The Rock, which I mean I still kind of did.
Yeah.
It was like very much The
The
Rock
whole time.
but I think he did a good job. It was still fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Like I want to see him fight Henry Cavill Superman now, and that's what we've been wanting for years.
Yeah, I agree. I think overall, I guess I was so conditioned for it. I was so ready for it that like I knew exactly what we were going to get. Like, especially after we started getting trailers and clips and things like that, I knew exactly what we were going to get. So there was no surprises. It was, and he was fine. He was good.
Yeah, I give this movie like a solid B, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a fair rating.
Solid B.
A good B. I really liked the scene at the beginning where he first is released from his prison.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And he comes out of the mountain and they start playing Dressed in Black.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man,
cool.
Yeah, that music combined, although I do think that they prolonged that slow motion.
A lot of people are complaining that there's a lot of slow-mo in this.
Yeah, that sequence was intense with the slow motion. Everything it was almost like watching a sequence for The Flash.
You know what I like so much that I want to say before we wrap this up here is the way the DCEU handles speed. I think the DCU handles speed better than the MCU. I love it.
Yes,
and they established Zack Snyder, I would say, could be credited for it because Man of Steel was our first glimpse of it when Superman is in the town and he's fighting General Zod and stuff like that. It wasn't General Zod, it was his lackeys. Their names escaping me right now.
I know what you're talking about.
He's fighting his fellow Kryptonians in the town, and it's almost like a teleport where it's just like he just teleports and you see like a brief blur of motion.
Yes.
And Black Adam, they did the same thing here, and they do it with the Flash and Superman, obviously, and the Snyder Cut and the normal Justice League. I love the way they handle speed. It looks so cool.
I agree. I think they handle speed much, much better than the MCU. It looks cool. It feels cool. I love the way that they do the slowdowns where you can they give the perspective of the person the speedster or whoever is using speed.
Speed blitz.
They did that a great job of that even in the original Justice League film where they come after Superman. And everything slows down, and Superman can see the Flash and the whole thing. So yeah, I agree.
That was still Snyder, as we know. That's a funny thing watching the Snyder Cut because he said he's never seen the Whedon cut.
Right.
So everything that was in the Snyder Cut was originally his, and he didn't just take whatever. So it's like, see, that was not, you just kept Snyder's scene, Whedon. You just kept it because you're like, yeah, this is awesome.
And it was arguably, I think it's my favorite scene in that movie.
When he gives the glance to the Flash, and the Flash is like, you can see me? I was like, oh.
He just panics.
But in any case, I think, in summary, the Black Adam was a ton of fun. Is it like the most amazing superhero DC film ever made? No, but well worth the watch, a ton of fun. And even if it's only that brief post-credit scene with Superman at the end, it does set up a fun, hopeful direction.
A hopeful future,
for the DCU going forward.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I use the words a ton, but it was fun. It was fun and it was entertaining, and that's really all I was expecting.
You know what it is, too? I think on top of like
just, for.
I don't know if everyone else is watching like The Rock's interviews and press for this, but like even just hearing him talk, I'm like, because he's talking about the new leadership, at Warner Brothers and how Walter Hamada now is actually gone, who he was one of the apparently the big guys who wanted to do away with the Snyderverse, and why Cavill wasn't, there. He just wanted to like wash hands. So now he's gone. They got new leadership. The Rock is a big advocate. Cavill's on board. We know we got Wonder Woman 3 in the works, the new Aquaman movie. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. That's all I got, Tim. All I got is hope. I gotta hang on to hope.
I will accept anything that demonstrates that they actually have a direction in mind and that there's something coherent in the works.
Well, good old Zazzy baby,
Zaslav. Let's see where we go with that.
He says they need a 10-year plan similar to the MCU, which Iger and Feige set in place all those years ago,
and put Christopher McQuarrie in charge.
And so far, he's been on pace. He's firing all the freaking loose ends left and right. Hamada's gone. He just axed the Constantine film that was coming out. He asked.
He did
the Zatanna film that was coming out, and there was another one that was coming out. Obviously, Batgirl and CW stuff. He's just like, no, we're cutting fat. New direction.
I did not hear that he cut the Constantine.
Yes, he did. He ain't effing around, as people like to say.
Well, good thing. Glad we didn't bring that up to Keanu.
No, not Keanu's Constantine.
Okay, not his.
No, Keanu's Constantine is going to be. That's not in the DCEU. Keanu's getting a sequel to his Constantine, which is not DCEU.
I thought you were talking about.
No. They were going to do a DCEU Constantine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you don't mess with Keanu.
Keanu, you're fine.
John Wick, man, you don't go after him.
We learned that in the first movie.
No, Keanu's safe. It was the DCEU version that was going to be an HBO Max series or a movie. that he was like, yeah, no,
Good.
no.
Well, keep it up, Zazzy baby.
But with that said, guys, we'll see you next time when we talk about all things comics.